We all know that when we hit around 45-ish, our hormones just go wacky, right? And many of us start experiencing difficulties with weight gain and difficulty losing weight. But did you know that there are 10 different hormones involved in weight loss? So which ones are affecting you and how do you fix it? Also, did you know that there are certain exercises that can keep us from losing weight? These are just a couple of the secrets revealed in our Midlife Secrets weight loss video. So be sure to watch till the end so you find out every one of them. And don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel so that you'll receive notification when we reveal all the future secrets that are soon to be released. So let's break this down. Let's start by understanding why weight loss becomes harder after 45. You have hormones, the estrogen, progesterone, thyroid, and cortisol, that change considerably as we get into peri and postmenopause. They affect our cravings, they can alter our eating patterns, affect muscle tone, which affects burning calories, fat storage, your sugar balance. And once you understand what's happening, we can start then working with your body rather than against it. And that's what we're going to talk more about and explain to you how you do that. I want you to use your workbook right now because you have a checklist in there of all these different hormones that we're going to talk about. And I want you to check off the characteristics that are most prominent for you. So once you understand this, and you're going to be able to work with your body and learn the tools that are specific for those hormones. So let's take a closer look at this. So you have cortisol, and these are some of the symptoms you might experience. You have fatigue, afternoon energy crashes, difficulty handling stress, stubborn belly fat, very closely related to cortisol. Then you have insulin resistance, and that may really cause you to have a lot of cravings for sweets or carbs, cause energy dips during the day, and a lot of my patients have those symptoms. Weight gain around the middle, and a lot of difficulty losing weight. All right, so let's check off the thyroid indicators. Very significant cold hands and feet, maybe even in warmer circumstances, maybe some thinning of your hair that you notice when you wash your hair and some comes out. Fatigue is a very common one. Slower metabolism, where you feel like you're hardly eating anything and you're still gaining weight or not losing. And then estrogen dominance, we're going to talk a little bit more about down the road, but a lot of times patient thinks that they're lacking estrogen and they start taking estrogen and end up with estrogen dominance that can actually cause you to gain weight, cause bloating, mood swings, and heavier periods. You're still in the premenopausal stage. And first of all, you may not have been estrogen deficient. Some women don't process estrogen the same way. And if you take additional estrogen and you're not clearing it out of your body, you can end up with estrogen dominance. So there are various reasons for that, and you probably need testing to really determine what is the cause of it. Then you have testosterone deficiency, where you have a loss of muscle tone. You're trying to build muscle, but it's not really happening. You might have decreased libido. A lot of clients come to me with that kind of symptom. And that can be a testosterone deficiency, which doesn't necessarily mean that you need to take testosterone. That's actually a fallacy because there are other ways to boost your testosterone levels. You may experience also fatigue, a lowered stamina where you're not able to do as much as you used to, low motivation, a very important one. And all of these things may be prevalent, and including brain fog is another characteristic. Then there's growth hormone. You may have trouble building and sustaining muscle, like with testosterone. Weight gain, another one there. You might have some sagging skin, which may be affecting how you look. Your face may look different or anywhere in your body. You may have poor recovery, so you did some workout and then you're really hurting afterwards and it takes longer to recover from different exercise. Low morning energy is a characteristic. You may not really feel so good in the morning and it disrupts a deep restorative sleep. Those are some of the signs of growth hormone. So check off the ones that are most prominent for you, and we're going to be talking more about these. On this slide, we're going to talk about how these hormones actually affect your metabolism. And these are all the hormones that are common to decline or be problematic during menopause. And there are others that we're going to talk about in a minute. So, for example, estrogen can lead to that increased belly fat storage. It reduces your insulin sensitivity, which is significant. And that's one reason why the declining estrogen at menopause affects your weight. It just slows down your metabolism. So, we're going to talk about ways that we can improve these hormone balances naturally and holistically. And progesterone disrupts many different systems. It's very involved in your digestion. So, when you're low on progesterone, you may have bloating and fluid retention. It has a big impact on our mood and sleep quality. And that's why a lot of times they'll recommend using progesterone at night to help with sleep because of that interference. Testosterone also can slow down your metabolic rate and reduce your fat burning capacity. So it's involved a lot in your muscle tone, your muscle mass, and you notice you start feeling a little bit flabbier. That's because of your testosterone being low. You probably aren't doing the right strength building exercises, which we're going to also talk about. Growth hormone is really something that's in our body for our whole life. And we all think about it as increasing as we're going from childhood into adolescence into adulthood. But less growth hormone as we age also affects our muscle mass, your fat storage, and tissue repair. So, a lot of times older people notice when they get cuts or bruises that things take a little bit longer to heal because of the decline in growth hormone. Cortisol has a lot of benefits, but it also, when it's out of control because of stress, can be our problem with belly fat, triggering food cravings, especially when we're under stress. We start eating a lot of chocolate and other sweets. A lot of us do that. That's one reason why I incorporate these mind-body exercises in the program, because we want to calm down naturally, be more relaxed, and then we can affect our hormonal balance in a positive way. Insulin is also very important because it affects our weight, can lead to diabetes, which is extremely prevalent in our culture. And our sensitivity with estrogen decreases and declines with age and also with our diet. So we're going to take a little bit closer look at that and what tools we can use to correct this. So what about other hormones? You thought we were done with hormones, but actually we have our sex hormones, which we just talked about, but we also have other hormones that have a very profound effect on weight management, and that includes ones like thyroid, leptin, ghrelin, and adiponectin, which you don't have to memorize the names of those. But these are some of the ones that are missed and aren't addressed in most weight loss programs. And there are different ways of addressing them, including medications like Wegovy and Ozempic, which we're going to talk about in a minute. And those work on work with some of these hormones in terms of weight, but maybe a little too harshly. And we can learn how to have about the same kind of effect that these medications do naturally and holistically with our diet and supplementation. So thyroid hormones control our metabolism. We talked a little about that. And it does get worse as we get older, and women are especially affected by this because of the effect of estrogen on thyroid. So it becomes a little sluggish, and you'll experience the weight gain, fatigue, hair loss. We talked about that, and things along that line, and that was on the checklist. Now, leptin is one that signals us that we're full. So when we eat really fast, we don't have time to trigger leptin, which goes to your brain. So you see the gut to the brain to the heart, gut and brain all working together, tells your body that you're full and that it's time to stop eating. But if your leptin is resistant, your body ignores these signals. So one of the things is when you eat really fast, but you also can affect leptin in other ways. And it affects your body, leads to feelings of constant hunger that you just have to keep eating. Ghrelin is called the hunger hormone, and it tells you when to eat, but that is also affected as we get older, and it rises whether you're not sleeping really well. That is with these hormones with sleep interruption and high stress. So high stress, because not only is your body physically changing, but there's also quite a bit of things going on maybe in your family, different interactions with significant other during this time of life. Children leave and go to school and get married, and grandchildren, which is a blessing, but it can be a little bit of a stressor at the same time. And so those kind of things can affect these hormones, increasing cravings with the ghrelin. Adiponectin supports metabolic health in fat, and it decreases as body fat increases. So if you're increasing your fat, you're decreasing the adiponectin and have more fluid retention and difficulty managing your weight. And those are some of the things that affect our midlife balance and cause these messages to our brain, to our heart, to the brain, to the gut, and all those connections get a little bit chaotic as these hormones start to shift. So how can we work with that? This slide is a great reference tool, and there is a copy in your workbook. You might want to go back to this because it does show that the ones that have the green check mark are the ones that are most affected by your midlife shift: the estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, growth hormone, and cortisol. Can be either way with insulin. So all of those are more involved with your midlife shift. And then you have the ones that can change anytime in your life, including thyroid, leptin, ghrelin, and adiponectin that we just went over. And it gives you a little bit of a summary of what the impact is on your weight. So this really explains why the traditional eat less, move more advice doesn't always work for midlife women. We need more specific ways to deal with it. They're a whole different set of rules than we have had before in our life, and we're going to talk about how to influence these hormones naturally and holistically. And it really isn't that difficult. It's just understanding and knowing what to do. All right, let's go take a look. What I really want to impress upon you in this course is that there are foods and supplements and lifestyle changes that you can make that are going to influence all of these hormonal imbalances and deficiencies and affect your weight in a very positive and significant way that you have complete control over. Herbs like maca and ashwagandha, I tend to use a lot in my practice because they're very gentle in the sense of not pushing your hormones in any specific direction. And they're called adaptogenic herbs, adaptogens. And what they're going to do is help balance your body and provide what it needs to balance each hormone. So ashwagandha tends to be a little more shifted towards the testosterone side in its function, like with libido. But it really also works great with women on your estrogen and progesterone balance as well. Maca is the same thing. It's more estrogen progesterone balancing, except there are certain forms of maca that work really well for increasing testosterone as well. So you'll need to discuss that with your coach if that's one that you're really lacking. Now, one of the companies that I work with has 3 different types of maca. One is for reproductive years, one is for perimenopause, and one is for postmenopause. Men only have one kind. And so the ones that we use the most is the postmenopause in this particular program. Estrogen, you can also get from foods, and they're called estrogenic foods. And I do have a whole list in your workbook, but brown flax seeds and organic soy are very natural, organic, gentle phytoestrogens that can help improve your estrogen balance. Chickpeas, pomegranate, and sesame seeds also help to balance low estrogen, but they're not quite as strong, and maybe not quite as strong as flaxseed and soy, but they're definitely effective. And then you have herbs specific for estrogen like black cohosh, chasteberry, and red clover that are more specific for estrogen. Now, progesterone support, you have B6-rich foods, which help to improve your sleep and reduce anxiety, help progesterone balance. Ashwagandha is also really good for that as well, and I actually take that every single day for stress. Magnesium is great for calming and relaxing muscles and muscle spasms and relaxing your brain before bed, and you can get that from pumpkin seeds and dark chocolate. But don't overdo the dark chocolate because of the sugar. And you can also take magnesium in a capsule form, and that's very effective and acceptable for many of us who are deficient in magnesium. And then chasteberry and bioidentical progesterone creams help significantly. Progesterone cream I used a lot when I first was going through menopause. It helped me tremendously with the worst of menopause, and I really never experienced a lot of hot flashes. I actually had more anxiety and attacks, and progesterone cream really helps with that. Also, it also helps a lot with sleep, as we mentioned. Okay, testosterone and thyroid support, maca and ashwagandha do help a lot with that. There are also some selenium-rich foods like Brazil nuts help support metabolism and helpful for low testosterone and thyroid issues. And iodine can be in a lot of different seafood. Seaweed is a very high source, and eggs, and that can energize thyroid function. If you feel like thyroid issues are one of your main issues based on your checklist, we can also help make sure you get the right vitamins and nutrients to support your thyroid. And at the earlier stages of thyroid imbalance, these kinds of support are very effective. And you don't need to go on thyroid hormones unless it has gotten to a certain stage and it has become very progressive. But we can talk more about that if you think it's an issue for you. Another area that's kind of exciting that's just starting out in terms of weight management is our gut health and how it affects our hormonal balance and weight management. Because most of us have really not eaten that great throughout big part of our lives. And when we hit a certain point in midlife, it seems like everything just goes crazy all at once. It's a body's way of telling us that something is really out of balance significantly, and we hit this tipping stage. So they can become overwhelming because we're not used to it, and also become more complex. And the gut microbiome has to do with this complex community of bacteria and other kind of microbes that exist in our digestive tract. And there are what we consider healthy bacteria and unhealthy bacteria. The healthy bacteria, they find, significantly help our overall digestion, helps our metabolism, our hormone balance. And so all of those things are significantly influenced. And also, it can also affect our inflammation regulation. So that's really critical. When it's out of balance, it's called dysbiosis, and it can lead to hormone imbalances, especially things like estrogen dominance. And it contributes to some of the conditions that many women suffer from both before and after menopause, like PCOS, thyroid issues, and others. So addressing these can really affect your weight for various reasons. And things that you can do are actually pretty simple. One of them is just increasing your fiber. I know that I had one client that was not really eating enough fiber, and personally, I'm still working on it myself because it's not part of our normal diet in the United States. So, what we need to do is watch our carbs, but increase the fiber count. And I gave you a cheat sheet to look at that. We want to get the 25 grams that we discussed earlier. That's going to help reverse your age, keep you healthy in many different ways, and definitely help with weight management. It's really kind of amazing how that works. So we're going to go over some details about what's included in fiber, and you can get that all in your workbook. Now, poor gut health also can lead to more cravings. And that's another thing that I used to have a lot of sugar cravings when I was younger, and I wasn't eating a lot of fiber. I ended up finding out that I had celiac disease. So all of the things that I was eating as a young person, things like pizza and bagels that I lived on in school, and I probably figured out every different way you can make a bagel, pizza bagels, traditional bagels, sandwich bagels, all different things. And they were the worst thing possible for my gut. And it significantly worsened my cravings, my inflammation, and my energy levels throughout the day. So one thing you can do also, besides fiber, is eating fermented foods. And that seems to help balance it in an important way. And that's one reason I recommend eating yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, the real sauerkraut that has fermentation probiotics in it. It seems that those people who eat a lot of those maintain a much healthier microbiome and don't have as many issues with weight. There's also some specific targeted probiotics that we can discuss. If you feel that you need more information, let me know. But that helps with their estrogen metabolism and helps with these weight issues. There are a few companies that do specialize in these kind of probiotics. It's not going to work with any kind of probiotic off of the shelf. All right, so our food contains both micronutrients and macronutrients. The micronutrients are your vitamins and minerals and antioxidants. And then there's the macronutrients, which we're going to talk about now, which is your protein, your fiber, and your fat. We discussed some of this a little bit earlier. And your carbohydrates and your fats, what was recommended when you were younger is very different than what is recommended now when our bodies change. We're finding that as we age, we need more protein. The protein helps to build and keep our muscle mass, which is really important for weight management and overall health. And it helps to stabilize our blood sugar and support a healthy metabolism. It's also one of the things that help you feel more full, such as when you eat meat, chicken, fish, or beans. It's also recommended that you maintain your total carbs closer to 100 grams. What we find in research is many people in American culture, especially in the South, eat over 200 per day, which is why some areas of the country have much higher diabetic rates than others. 200 grams is really getting high. Now, if you need to go a little over 100 to incorporate the amount of fiber that I've recommended, that's okay because fiber supports weight loss and detoxification. So if you're eating carbs that don't have a lot of fiber and that are what they call the quick carbs, you need to switch that over. We're going to talk more about that. What about fats? You don't have to worry so much about how much fat you're eating, more about eating healthy fats. That includes things like avocado, olive oil, flaxseed oil. The less healthy fats are the saturated fats. And you do need some of those, but that needs to be a smaller portion. And those are ones that are in foods like beef and steak and burgers and fries and pastries and cakes that are not good for us. They're higher in saturated fats and they need to be limited to under 10%. So when you eat macronutrients properly, it's one of the things that helps to regulate your satiation or your desire to eat more and helps control those food cravings. The pharmaceutical industry wants you to believe that you have to take their medication in order to make you do that, but that's really just not true. And if you use all of the information that I'm sharing in this course and in your workbook, you will not need these medications. Okay, so what they do, the medications trick your brain into thinking it's full and it cuts down your desire to eat at all, especially when you these medications. And many people that are on them just stop eating and eat so little that they become nutrient deficient, and that can cause a whole host of other health issues and become very serious. That could increase your risk of cancer, heart disease, and other conditions because you're not getting the proper nutrition. It can also cause you to lose weight so fast that your skin can start to sag. And many people who have taken these have some of them go for surgery to correct it. Not everyone can afford that. And the elasticity isn't able to respond. You'll see sagging skin in the face, neck, abdomen, buttock area. I'm not saying that they're evil or terrible to use because some people with food addictions often need this type of medication to lose the weight, but it's really not the norm for everyone. In this course, we don't count calories, we count nourishment. Your goals is 30 grams of protein per meal, breakfast, lunch, dinner, 25 grams of fiber per day, and about 100 grams of carbs. Use your cheat sheets to guide your meals because you're fueling your metabolism, not trying to starve it. Like I mentioned, you don't need medications like Wegovy and Ozempic. Most people don't. The secret to feeling full, cutting down food cravings, and reducing hunger lies in stimulating these natural satiety hormones. I can't pronounce that word. PYY, CCK, GLP-1, and leptin, and we're going to go over that. Eating more protein, fiber, and fats are your allies. We're going to show you why. These are your satiety hormones, and these are the ones that are worked on by the medications that we were talking about. You have your peptide YY. It is released from your intestines and signals fullness to the brain. And that's one reason why I recommend eating slower and chewing your food more properly, because then it gives a chance for these hormones to work properly. The CCK is activated when fat and protein reaches your small intestines. So that's why it's a good thing to eat more fat and protein, because that does signal the decrease in appetite and slows your digestion, which is really important for weight loss. And then you have GLP-1, which is stimulated by fiber and protein. So here you see protein twice, and the fat and fiber, all of those give you a feeling of satisfaction while also improving your insulin sensitivity. And leptin is a long-term regulator. We talked a little bit earlier about that, how fat cells communicate to the brain to keep you from overeating. So let's talk about the ways that we can naturally support the satiety hormones. Prioritize protein at each meal, especially breakfast. And this is one thing I tell my clients: eat protein at breakfast, lunch, and dinner, depending on how many meals that you're eating. And that will help with this weight management by helping these hormones and preventing ups and downs in your energy level during the day. 25 grams of fiber will slow the digestion and support the GLP-1 hormone. Also, omega-3 rich fatty acids help to trigger CCK. The hormone production and other healthy fats do that. And practicing mindful eating, like I was saying about eating slower and enjoying your meal, chew your food longer, that helps because of a couple of different reasons. One is that it helps these hormones. Two, it helps your digestion, because digestion starts in your mouth. You have certain kinds of digestive enzymes in your saliva that start the digestive process, and they have a chance to work when you chew your food rather than just putting it in and swallowing. And then you also need to stay hydrated, because that will help prevent you mistaking thirst for hunger, which actually does increase as we get older. So those are some of the important things to monitor that will help these satiety hormones function more properly in your body. These are some lifestyle habits that also support some of these appetite suppression hormones. So exercising regularly improves your insulin sensitivity, balancing your hormones, and helps to regulate hunger signals. We're going to talk a little bit more about that on the next slide, because exercising regularly means different things to different people, and it's also different for women over 45. Our needs are just different. We also need to prioritize sleep. You need to have 6 to 8 hours of restorative sleep, and if you're not getting that, you're affecting your leptin and ghrelin levels that interfere with weight management, and that's another reason why sleep is so important. Staying up late to watch TV or work on the computer, reading your emails, is not going to be helpful for weight loss or for your stress levels. High cortisol levels due to stress trigger cravings for quick energy and comfort foods, and we want to work on other ways of managing stress. So what does that mean? That's why we talk about the mind-body connection, things like meditation, deep breathing, relaxation exercises, and we do have some of those special exercises in your workbook. Do not skip over those to help you with stress and the mind-body connection. If you need more help, contact us and we can talk about how to work on that. Next is choosing whole foods. Balancing your meals with protein, vegetables, healthy fats, getting a wide variety of fruits and vegetables. Talking about different colors, over a week you should be eating a combination of orange, yellow, purple, green. Lots of green ones help with energy. And when you use a variety, you tend to have a better nutrient balance. And it does improve the functioning of these appetite suppression hormones. So circle one area that you would like to improve this week and work on that in the workbook. I'm not going to go over a lot of detail on these cheat sheets because you have them in your workbook, but proteins can be of animal source, plant source, if you're vegan, and you want to eat protein at each meal, as we mentioned. You have to eat a little bit more if you're beans and vegan protein to feel full sometimes than eating chicken or salmon or beef, but you can get enough protein. And that's really important because we need to get 30 grams per meal, approximately. These are some examples of how to get 30 grams that I put on the sheet, and you can follow along in your workbook, figure out how you can add these to the diet plan that you recorded at the beginning of your workbook. In the Do It For You program, we actually do a complete diet plan for you. We analyze what you're eating in detail. We calculate your protein, carb, fats, and fiber and micronutrients. And then we propose changes that will work better for weight management and well-being. And you can also do it yourself with these cheat sheets. All right, again, this is your fiber cheat sheet that you have a little more detailed version in your workbook, but just remember that fiber is one of your secret weapons. It feeds your gut, helps your microbiome, helps you feel full, and many different health issues, including detoxification of hormones, estrogen. So it helps a lot with the estrogen dominant symptoms. And people who eat more fiber live longer, healthier lives in general. So highly recommended. I can't stress enough either how important it is to keep your carbs down to avoid insulin resistance and carb cravings and energy swings. So you want to try to switch from the high carb foods to the slower burning calories. For example, white bread and white potatoes, switch for sweet potatoes or quinoa. Quinoa is a slower burning carb and it has more protein in it, so that is better for us. Beans are a great source, so that's also good for anyone, but also for vegetarians that help give them a slow burning carb as well as protein that they need as well. So we want to keep that close to 100, a little over. If you're doing it for fiber, that's okay. So be sure to open your weekly tracker in your workbook where you're going to track your protein, fiber, your exercise movement, your mindset, and your self-care daily. And it's just one step at a time. You're creating new habits and do it with compassion and clarity. And little by little, you will see these changes manifest in your life. It's just small changes can lead to big results as long as you are persistent. So there's a lot of confusion about what kind of exercises to do for weight management, especially at age over 45. So strength training preserves your metabolism. Daily walking and gentle yoga, things like that, help to balance your cortisol levels. And we want to choose activities that give energy, not drain it. So how much is enough? One of the recommendations, the research shows that strength training needs to be done around 2 to 3 times per week to be effective in terms of building muscle. When you have more muscle, you're going to burn more calories. And even though we're not watching calories, we can monitor how quickly we're burning off the fat. Yay! All right. Walking, cycling, dancing are all types of continuous movement that would work in this category. 20 to 40 minutes. I have 30 on there, but if you get up to 40, that's even better. At least 20 minutes at a good pace is necessary for weight management. Many people trying to lose weight start running because they think, oh, I'm going to burn a lot of calories. But that level of intensity is actually not the best type for weight loss because then we tend to eat whatever we burned off with high intensity exercise. So if you're trying to lose weight, stick to the moderate intensity workout. Also, gentle movement is really important. Things like yoga, stretching, Tai Chi, they find very effective in a number of ways. One, it keeps everything limber and movable so that you don't wake up feeling stiff when you get up in the morning and don't want to exercise. And both Tai Chi and yoga also help a lot with balance, which becomes more critical as we start aging. Because so many of my patients lose their balance and fall. They stumble off a curb or over something in their way. They break their wrist, their hip, their ankle, and that puts them out of business for quite a while and definitely makes it difficult to continue exercising. So if you have good balance, you're much less likely to fall. Even if you stumble, you can catch yourself or fall in a better way. This age slower video goes into a little more detail so you can see this in motion, exactly what you should be doing. Exercise and movement give you energy so that you can enjoy your life. That's really important thing here. We want you to really enjoy yourself and write down your current exercise habits and one small change that you can make this week in your movement. Write it down in your workbook. Play the video. The link is in the description or in your workbook for more detailed instructions on exercise and weight management in midlife. What worked in your 20s and 30s may not be working for you now. Visualization isn't just wishful thinking. It's a powerful tool that helps to rewire your brain, shift your identity, and align you with the future version of you who already lives in balance with her body. When you see yourself making nourishing choices, feeling strong, and living with freedom and ease in your body, you're sending a powerful signal to your subconscious that change is possible and already happening. This mindset work is essential to overcoming resistance, help building self-esteem, self-trust, and creating a sustainable transformation. Take time today to do the guided meditation in your workbook. I have a link there that will lead you through this. And I promise you that the more you practice this, the faster you will lose the weight and keep it off. Don't want it, have it visualization. Do it now. It's only a few minutes, but it will deepen your connection to your own goals in a whole new way, and you'll be surprised at the result. Another mind-body exercise that helps us get connected is journaling, and this is a journal prompt. Thoreau said, "It's not what you look at that matters, it's what you see." A lot of times we look at things and we see it in a distorted way. Take a minute to write freely using the journal prompt in your workbook and practice this on a regular basis. Let your future self speak and identify with who you are and want to be. Many times with weight and other challenges, we have this critical voice in our head, either something that we started saying to ourselves or someone said to us years ago, such as, "You're ugly," or "You're never going to fit into that," or "You've got a big butt," whatever. I remember I had a boyfriend that no matter how thin and fit I got, he would look at my abdomen and, "Oh, look at this, a little fat there," or something like that. And I became close to anorexic. I never quite got there, but it took me years to normalize my body image and figure out what unconscious things I was saying to myself. And that's what I want you to do. Bring them into your consciousness, because the more you're aware of them, the more empowered you can become to change that negative speak in your head. Let's talk about some of the amazing weight loss supplements that you can take individually or combined. We have like berberine, gymnema, green tea extract, and astragalus that support your metabolism, cravings, and stress response. And you don't need many, just the right ones for your need. And you'll know when we're going to talk about these in more detail. If it speaks to you, then that's probably one you need. Green tea is one of them that has had some good research on it, and it does help with significant weight loss. In a number of studies, it did improve the lipid profile, reduced waist circumference, which is really cool, and helps with appetite. So one study found that in 12 weeks of treatment with a high dose of green tea extract resulted in significant weight loss, including reduced waist circumference, consistent decrease in total cholesterol and LDL, the bad cholesterol, without any side effects or adverse effects in women with central obesity. It really worked with the ghrelin secretion and leading to increased adiponectin, which reduces the waist circumference, the fat around the waist. It's a very important nutrient and very effective for sustainable weight loss. The dosage is going to range between 400 and 800 that was used in the study. You have to play around with that dosage or consult with us, and we can help you decide the right dosage for you. Let's take a closer look at berberine. Research demonstrates that berberine can help reduce your weight, your BMI, and your waist size. That's kind of similar to the green tea. It also helps your body use insulin better and lower blood sugar, improves fat levels in your blood and heart, and improves your heart health. and help weight loss by changing how your body stores and uses fat. In a 2020 review of multiple studies, researchers found that taking berberine significantly reduced weight, body weight, BMI, waist size, and inflammation markers in the blood, using dosages ranging from 500, which is like one capsule, to 1500, which is 3 capsules per day. And it depends on your body size and what you're trying to accomplish. Taking over 1500 is not recommended, but it actually had a very beneficial effect on the whole body when taken in the right dose for weight management. All right, how about Gymnema? This was one of my favorites. Recommended dosage is 400 to 600 milligrams, and it's very helpful with sugar cravings. So if that is a factor for your weight management, definitely try this herb. Ongoing studies are evaluating Gymnema and its components for prevention and treatment of diabetes, and it really helped me during a time when I had significant sugar cravings. I was eating chocolate every night and other sweets because the Gymnema affects the taste of the sugar. So most people, including myself, don't even want to eat much of it once you start taking this herb. And it really did work for me. And I got off the sugar habit and have not had a problem since. Another one of my most favorite with incredible benefits for anti-aging and weight is also boosts the immune system, helps your heart and brain function better. It's a very beneficial herb, astragalus. It also helps with stress. One study found that weight loss intervention therapy containing astragalus led to significant weight loss, improved obesity-related comorbidities in a group of participants, and had no serious adverse reactions. So that is really important. I've included a video link about astragalus that I made to give you a little more in-depth understanding about all the benefits of this herb, which are extensive. And there's a story about Li Ching Gwen, who is said to have lived 256 years because he was an herbalist and used a lot of these herbs, including astragalus, extensively. And he actually did live that long. There's some specific information in that video that will give you some more information about that. Pretty interesting. All right, let's take a look at the next one. Another effective strategy that you can add to your toolbox is called intermittent fasting. And this is a minimized version that's really simple and easy to follow that can make it sustainable. And it's a time-restricted eating program that can be from 12 to 14 hours of fasting. And this is how it works. So let's say your last meal or snack was done at 8 p.m. Then from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m., you have a 12-hour fast. And if you want to extend it to 14 hours, you can eat again at 10. The important thing is that when you eat that first meal in the morning, make sure it's protein-rich, eating at least 30 grams of protein, remember. And if you're going to be doing this fast, then you need to make sure that first meal is nourishing so that you can reduce cravings and energy dips during the day. Many women find that this really helps improve their weight loss journey without too much deprivation that is in some of the intermittent fasting programs. This one's pretty easy. Let's say that you've been working at this weight program for a long time, not this one, but just in general, and you're very frustrated, and you're looking at this program and you really want a little more definitive information. One of the things that you can do is this iometric weight loss panel, which is a powerful at-home test that can give you detailed insight into your hormonal patterns and other nutrients that impact weight, such as your sugar balance. This is like a jump start and confirms your suspicions about your hormone imbalances, and it gives you a clearer insight that may help you stick to your program better. This is part of our guaranteed weight loss program that we're going to talk about in a minute. So if you are someone that needs a little more input, support, and accountability, or all of the above, we have a do-it-yourself group coaching path and a more comprehensive guaranteed results path. Let me review briefly what each entails. So the group coaching gives you forever online course access that includes this course as well as our complete 12-module anti-aging program. It also gives you the benefit of attending group coaching sessions with other women who are working on weight and other hormonal issues. It's great to have a community of like-minded women. This includes tracking tools and guides, the community support system, all for only $499 at introductory price. And also you get discounts on the supplements that we've talked about. The Guaranteed Results program is our highest support, and it's everything that's in the DIY program, plus one-on-one coaching, the Iometrics weight loss panel, personalized diet and exercise plan, personalized supplement protocol with the supplements included. And that one is all-inclusive, guaranteed for $19.99. You can upgrade at any time. Let's say you start with a group coaching path of $499 and you need more help. You can upgrade and apply that towards the Guaranteed Results path. Those are the two programs that we offer along with this free course, or you can continue using the course for free using the materials we provided. So remember that the prices I just quoted are introductory. They can change at any time. So if you are interested, schedule your free consultation today. Okay, let's do a quick recap of the key steps in this midlife weight loss program. You want to eat 30 grams of protein per meal, especially at breakfast, to support your metabolism, sustain your energy, and preserve lean muscle. Get 25 grams of fiber every day to support your gut health, your hormonal balance, cholesterol levels, and weight management. Keep your carbs close to 100 grams per day for better blood sugar control and stable energy. And then moving every day, your strength training 2 to 3 times a week, walking 20 to 40 minutes, and be sure to include some kind of stretching or yoga or Tai Chi for flexibility and balance. Use your tracker and journal on a regular basis to build awareness and consistency and keep track of your successes. And practice your mindset tools. Your visualization and journaling are going to help align your actions with your goals and help aid sustainable change. Remember, every small win matters, whether it's dropping a pound, having more energy, or cooking a better breakfast. Celebrate it all. So if you're ready to go deeper, download your workbook, explore the coaching programs that we've linked in the description, because no one-size-fits-all approach works in midlife. And this is a mind, body, spirit reset that you've been waiting for. So if this was helpful, please give it a like. Hit subscribe so you don't miss upcoming videos on hormones, metabolism, and holistic wellness. And if you feel moved, comment below. I'd love to hear your biggest insights from today's lesson. Have a fantastic day.